Good morning, students. This is the continuation video. After that, she gave me a shirt and trousers belonging to Mr. Dick, a nice old man who lived in my aunt's cottage, covered me with two large warm shawls, and led me to a soft, comfortable sofa where I fell asleep. So, in the first half, we had seen how David Copperfield he ran from his house and he reached to his aunt's house. Here, after he introduces himself to his aunt, now what happens? First of all, she had given him tonic and made him take a bath, and after that she gave him shirt and trouser who was belonging to Mr. Dick. Dick was a man, an old man who was living in her cottage, and then she covered him with large warm shawls and then took him to a sofa, and there he fell asleep. That was the beginning of my aunt's adoption of me. She wrote to Mr. Murdstone, and he and his sister arrived a few days later and were scolded by my aunt for the way they had treated me. So when she started taking care of David, and then she informed Mr. Murdstone. Then he and her sister, both of them, came there, and Miss Betsy, she scolded Murdstone for the way they were treating David. Mr. Murdstone said finally he would take me back, but if I did not return, then his doors would be shut against me forever. So Murdstone, he agreed to take David back, but he said that if he will not go with them at that time, then he would not take him back again forever. Means he cannot go back to Murdstone again. And what does the boy say? Said my aunt. Are you ready to go, David? I answered no, and pleaded with her not to let me go. So Miss Betsy, she asked David that if he wants to go, what he has to say. So David said no, and he requested his aunt that she should not send him with Mr. Murdstone. She pulled me towards her and said to Mr. Murdstone, you can go when you like. I will take my chance with the boy. So when David refused to go with Murdstone, Miss Betsy, she pulled David towards her, and she said that whenever Murdstone wants to go, he can go. And since that time, Miss Betsy, she would take care of David. When they had gone, my aunt announced that she would be my guardian and that I should be called Trotwood Copperfield. Thus I began my new life in a new name and with everything new about me. So when Miss Betsy Trotwood, she told Murdstone that she would take care of David, then she became her guardian, and then she gave him a name that he would be called as Trotwood Copperfield. And then David's new life started with a new name, with everything new. My aunt sent me to school at Canterbury. Since there was no room at the school for boarders, she arranged for me to board with her old lawyer, Mr. Wickfield. My aunt was as happy as I was in this arrangement. Mr. Wickfield's house was quiet and still, and her daughter, Ignis, a child of about my age, was bright and happy. So, after that, Miss Betsy Trotwood, she sent David to school at Canterbury, and there was no space for boarders, so she made arrangement for David staying in her old lawyer's house, and the lawyer's name was Mr. Wickfield. So David's aunt, Miss Betsy Trotwood, was very happy to see David going to school and everything was done properly. So she was happy that David will be going to school and he got a comfortable place to live. And in Mr. Wickfield's house, David got a companion. Her name was Ignis, and she was a child of David's age, and she was very bright. She was bright and a happy girl. The school I now went to was better in every way than Salem House, but I felt very strange at first. It had been quite a while since I was at school with companion of my age. It seemed to me that I had forgotten everything that I had learned. So here David makes comparison of his new school with his old school. So he finds that the new school is much better than the Salem house, but he felt very strange in the beginning because he had left school long days before and he had forgotten everything whatever he had learned. He had not been with companions of his age since long time. However, I felt better when I went to school the next day, and a good deal the better the day after, and so on, than in less than a fortnight. I was quite at home, happy among my new companions. So, David, when he was going to school for the first time, he was feeling a bit uncomfortable, but as he continued, he felt better, and then he was very happy that he had got new companions and new place. He was happy going to school. He was enjoying his life now. Trot, my aunt said, when she left me at Mr. Wakefield, never be mean in anything, never be false, never be cruel. I will come and visit you soon. And now the pony at the door, and I am off. She embraced me hastily and went out of the house, shutting the door after her. When I looked into the street, I noticed how sadly she got into the chaise, that she drove away without looking up. So, after leaving David Copperfield, when his aunt was going, she told him, she just gave him a advice that he should never be mean. Means he should never be selfish in anything. He should never be false. He should not lie, and he should never be cruel. And she said that she would come and visit him soon. And meanwhile, her pony had come. A pony carriage was there. It was at the door, and she would go in there. So she embarrassed him, and then she went out of the house. And when David looked into the street, to see Miss Betsy Trotwood, he noticed that she was sad that she was leaving Trotwood there and she had to go. But even though she was sad, but she left him there and she went without looking up again, because she knew that she had left David there so that he will become a good person. He will learn something. He will be with his companion. He had been left there so that he will get a good life. He will become a good person in future. I hope the chapter is clear. Thank you.